Hello, good evening. I'm Okolafo Paul, your host. Today on Owens Homes Real Estate weekly review. Topic today is tenancy law. It's a very pivotal, important topic because it's especially in this part of Africa, Nigeria, to behold, where there are lots of cases of oppression from property owners, tenants, and infringement of rights. So it's important as a client in Owens Homes for you to know your rights, so you'll be able to curtail and to handle such excesses of property owners or landlords as the case may be. Stay tuned as we proceed with the discourse. All right, good evening. First and foremost, let me welcome you to Owens Homes Weekly Real Estate Review. Today's topic is tenancy laws of the rights in Nigeria. All right, these are the content. The content includes our definition of terms, tenancy laws. We have law 1 to law 9. All right, before questions and answers with comment. All right, definition of terms. What is landlord? Who is a landlord? A landlord is someone who owns a property and is willing to issue it out at a certain amount for a particular duration. Who is a tenant? A tenant is anyone who rents a property and takes possession of it for a specific duration. Alright, the tenancy laws, the law or right number 1 is right to receive receipt of payment. So it's very important you know that it's your right to get a receipt from the landlord, because why? The reasons are this receipt helps to protect you from fraud. It also gives you the right of acknowledgement and also an evidence in terms when the landlord especially fail to meet up with the tenancy agreement. Now 2, it's expected to have rights to tenancy agreement. So that is, it's expected for your landlord to present to you the right to tenancy. All right, the agreement of tenancy. All right, this entails proper terms and conditions for renting. It includes the date, the amount, the does and the don'ts before rent is paid. And when I mean the does and the don'ts, there are so many rules and regulations by some landlords. So you have to look at them, review them, and agree before you pay. And also, you need to also itemize repairs. We used to make repairs, because definitely if the house is habitable now, that does not mean subsequently it may not have damages. So who is going to pay for that repair? So it must be itemized, okay, in the tenancy agreement before signing. All right, violation of this tenancy right accrues a lot of penalties, all right, legally. So it's expected you know this is your right and you have it for your own good. All right, now rights to a valid quick notice. Yes, this is actually a problem, because I've seen a lot of people being evicted illegally from their demised premises by some arrogant landlords. So it's expected of us as tenant, or for you as a tenant, to know the importance of you having a quick notice. So it's important, it's your right. Before you're being dismissed, you must get a quick notice, a valid one as that from the landlord. And note, there are durations up to this quick notice. Now, if you are on monthly rentals, your quick notice is about 1 month duration after. But if you're on daily rentals, your quick notice is about 7 days duration maximum of before eviction. But if you are on a yearly or annual rentals, know that your quick notice duration is 6 months before eviction of that property. So know this and know peace, so that your rights will not be infringed as a tenant. Right? Right number 4, rights to having an habitable apartment. Now, it is your right to have an habitable apartment. All right, the property must be rented, must be habitable. All right, so it must be on good shape or in good shape. All right, to make it pretty much comfortable for you before you rent. That means it's expected of you as a tenant to inspect your property well before renting. Now, failure to comply requires tenant notifying the landlord and agent about the inconveniences, which is a damage incurred. Now, failure to respond, tenant may seek refund. Now, failure to refund by landlord requires suing. Now, look, these rights includes you going to inspect the property, but if there are some damages you observed and you made it known to the agent and to the landlord, and the landlord agreed that he's going to make repairs before you pack in, and unfortunately you've paid and he fails to do those repairs, and the damage is actually affecting your lifestyle and your way of living, that means the landlord have violated your right, which is the right to having an habitable worth apartment, and this is subject to suing. All right, now number 5, rights to peaceful enjoyment of demised premises. Now, a demised premises is a premise which you have rented or you have leased, or the landlord has given out for lease or rentage. All right, now this grants tenant full possession of the property for the appointed time and therefore landlords are not allowed to invade tenants' privacy. Landlord must seek the tenant's consent or notify tenants before accessing the my spaces. Yes, this is very important for your privacy. Once the house has been rented, the tenancy agreement has been signed, the landlord has no right to infringe on your privacy without prior notification and permission, right? Tenancy law number 6, right to request for a review tenancy agreement. Take note, because subsequently things may occur and you may have some reasons not to proceed, or better still adjust or seek adjustment for the tenancy agreement signed. All right, so this is important in terms of changes. Right now, 7, the right to reimburse or refund money spent on repairs by landlord. Now this is very emphatic because this is one of the cause of the problems. Now before you sign the tenancy law, you must first and foremost establish an agreement on whom is to pay for repairs or damages incurred subsequently in the house. Is it the landlord or you as a tenant? So both of you must agree before proceeding. Now, failure to do so, or you as a tenant going ahead to repair any property or damages in a house without informing or seeking a consent and having an agreement with the landlord for reimbursement, this law does not hold. But until you have an agreement with the landlord, you've notified the landlord said, yes, do the repair, I'm going to reimburse or refund you. You understand? Then you can proceed with such repairs. Now 8, rights to renewal of rent. Now every tenant has these rights except objected by landlord due to failure to keeping up with the tenancy agreement. Now it is your right as a tenant also to keep the tenancy rights and respect those norms. You understand? So failure to do this your renewal, which is your right, can be objected by the landlord, and the objections might definitely be on a special occasion. Maybe the landlord wants to use the property, or maybe the landlord has sold out the property, or even if the landlord objects your renewal, the landlord must have a cogent reasons respecting the terms of tenancy of agreement and also the laws guiding you as a tenant before it is approved and legal. Now number 9, right to sue and be sued. This is where we have, which is the outcome of all this misunderstanding between the landlord and tenant. Most of them are sued and be sued. Now a tenant can be sued and the landlord can be sued on a term or on the note that a tenant and the landlord have obviously violated any or all of the tenant's rights. All right, like for instance, if the landlord said he's not going to do repairs, if the landlord says he's going to do repairs and both of you agree and you paid and you seek for refund and they refuse to refund you, you can sue the landlord and you can report the landlord for police. It's an act of criminal, it's a criminal act, so it's ascribed to fraud, right? And you'll be penalized for that. And you can also charge him for damages, for time wastage and what have you. You understand? So these are the various means a tenant actually can stand up and uphold his or her rights. All right, so take note, it must be on the occasion that the landlord has obviously violated any and all of the tenant's rights. Even when you notify him or her, she refuses to oblige to your rights or respect your rights. So that is only when you can sue. All right, so note, even as much as we have tenancy laws, we still have landlord laws. All right, so stay tuned. Next week we're entering, by God's grace, we're going to digest the new topic called landlord's law or landlord's rights, so that both the tenant and the landlord will know their boundaries and respect each other to ensure a peaceful coexistence and cooperation in the real estate agent space. Thank you very much for participating. God bless you. Good night.